Good afternoon, morning, whatever time you guys happen to be watching this video. My name is Thomas, for those who do not know, and I am the lead dispatcher this year for Cascade Student Transportation, and I'm going to be covering what we are going to need to cover for for dispatch purposes. Okay, so your dispatch team this year consists of, at the moment, 3 members. We're currently looking for a 4th. Your AM team has Miss Karen Harris. Aaron Sweeney's name is still there, but we will be, she's actually going to be leaving us here pretty quick, so we are looking for a new AM dispatcher at this point in time. If you are interested, please contact Paul or Becca in order to submit your interest for that position. And your PM team is going to remain myself as the lead and Donna Church as your other PM dispatcher. Some things we needed to talk about real quick for you guys. Radio etiquette is a big problem that we had last year. I just want to point out that it's more than us who can hear your guys' radio transmissions. The district can hear your radio transmissions. Anybody with a ham radio that can pick up on our frequency can hear your transmissions. As such, it is very important that we keep our radio transmissions professional and brief and to the point. Okay, we don't need to be calling people out on problems that they see on the road. That can be handled off radio. If you have a problem with somebody's safety and how they're doing the route, please go see Natalie. If there's a problem, any other problems, that can be handled off of the radio. Come see me in dispatch if you have any issues. Okay, we are going to be going to a 5-minute key check policy. What that means is we are going to not release your keys to you for your bus until it is 5 minutes before your scheduled swipe time. This is for a couple different purposes. We want to make sure that you're here. We want to make sure that you guys are on time. It's with our new bike curve system. This is the only way we're going to be able to keep things straight. If you have any issues with that, come see me in dispatch. So, because of the 5-minute key check time, one of the most important things that you can do for us is to know your route number and your swipe time. We are going to have somebody at the desk to hand out your keys. They're going to be looking for you on our system, and we need to know where we can find you quickly and efficiently so we can get you your key and get you out to your bus on time. So please, know your route number and know what your swipe time is. I do know that swipe times can change. If you do need to make a change, please see your routing coordinator or come see us in dispatch so we can get that changed for you on our systems. The new bike curve system requires everybody to be physically seen by a dispatcher before and after every run. Please make sure you're turning in your keys after every route. If you normally park out, you need to make sure you have that paperwork submitted into Paul or Natalie so that we can make sure we have that in our system as well. Until we can get the time clocks up and running, this is how we're going to have to make sure that you guys are getting paid correctly. Bike curve tracks your guys' stops this year. That's one thing I did want to point out. It has what's called a geofence around every stop. It logs when you enter, it logs when you leave. So please make sure that you're making every stop every time. Make sure you're opening your door at every stop every time. If you don't make your stop, I have no grounds to fight against the parents with. So making every stop, that's what I needed from you guys in order to be able to have your back with the parents, and tell them, you absolutely were there on time. Your student just didn't end up making the bus. I can't tell them that if you never stopped and opened your door. Okay, if you need to call off, heaven forbid you ever do need to call off, there is our call off number, 208-254-1273. You must call this call off line in order for it to count, and you must physically talk to a dispatcher. Voicemails will not count as a valid call off, and those will count as no call, no shows. You must call at least 30 minutes before your scheduled swipe time. And I jumped ahead of myself a little bit here. You must talk to a physical dispatcher. You must call at least 30 minutes before your scheduled swipe time. Do not call us 5 minutes before, or it will count as a no-call, no-show. As it says right there. And that's all I have for you guys at this point in time. If you have any questions, or if you have any comments or concerns, please do not hesitate to come see me in the dispatch office, or at least come up to the window. Yeah, my office is always open. Thank you very much. Have a good day, guys.
Alrighty, awesome. Well, guys, while we're here this morning, evening, whenever you're watching this video, good morning, or good day, I should say. But what we're talking about, today was in a world where there's just craziness. There's no control of anything on the outside. We can't do anything about those things. But we're gonna focus on what you can control, and what you can control is yourself. Your actions, your reactions, your attitude, your mindset, your habits, the culture on your bus, your consistency that you have with, implementing your bus rules and stuff, your behaviors and your misbehaviors. Joel, Mary, and I, we're gonna walk through this presentation with you, talking to you about what it looks like. So, hang in there with us. We're all going through the crazy changes together, but we got this. We're in your CST family here has got your back. We're here with you. So, moving on to the aspect of, we're starting with recon. Alrighty, awesome.
Let this be a reminder to you all that this organization will not tolerate failure.
Excited for tomorrow?
Is tomorrow Saturday?
No, it's the first day of school.
Oh, back to school, to prove to Dad that I'm not a fool. I got my lunch packed up, my boots tied tight. I hope I don't get in a fight. Oh, back to school, back to school, back to school. Well, here goes nothing.
Hey, who threw that?
I'll turn this bus around. That'll end your precious little field trip pretty quick, huh? Shit. Oh, what are they teaching this place?
We kind of done over the years, but recon, the R stands for respect. Be positive, be respectful to students, to staff, to fellow drivers around the area, in the yard, on the road. Be professional always. You are called to a higher standard because we are professionals. 80%, roughly 80% of student management issues really start with you, because you are the one who's in charge of your bus. You're the one who sets that tone, sets that culture. You smile when you greet the students as they come in, and you smile on their way out, and you wish them a good day, good weekend, whatever, and never ever lose your temper. As much as it's crazy, just like that bus driver in that video we saw earlier, just like, don't lose your temper, don't freak out. Like, you are the professional, you have to, you're in charge of those lives. So if you lose your temper, you can lose the attention, and safety goes right out the window with your emotions. So just focus, pay attention, care about these kids, and let's see, never curse at them, don't brake check them, as funny as it sounds. We've had many cases of bus drivers, brake checking, those kids go, flying, can hit the seat and stuff. Just don't do it. Avoid that kind of behavior, and no rude gestures to other drivers on the road, even if they're giving you the bird or whatever finger they want to point to you. Just smile and wave. It's kind of like Madagascar. Smile and wave, boys. Smile and wave. But don't curse at the students. It's not professional. Just don't do it. You know, don't treat them like your own kids in the sense that you can just have that personality, have that attitude with them. No, don't do it. It's a customer service business, and if in a normal customer service, anywhere else, you would not be cussing out your customers. Nothing. So don't, just hold yourself to that higher standard. Let's see here, and we're going to, if you have some positive ideas here at Student Mint, like with your SMCs, come on down. Ask some questions like, hey, what are some positive things I can do? Positive reinforcement for kids that do follow the rules. We have some good ideas. So come on down, check it out. And then just the most important thing, starting off from the get-go, day number one, learn their names. Start to learn their names. I know it's hard to understand, or like that. Oh, I don't know names, and it's really a mindset. If you focus on the priority, this is your route. Hopefully, I know some of you are sub drivers, and you probably won't know their names. That's okay, obviously, for your position. But when it's your route, know their names. Get to know them. Have that interest in them. We have a short video here after. That's a fun way to just kind of spark some ideas of learning people's names. And after that, we'll have Mary. So.
Hello everybody. I am doing the expectations. That's what the E stands for. I just want to go over the expectations only because this is makes it easier for us as bus drivers every single day that we come to work. So if we are being firm and clear about the bus rules and the expectations from day one, it will allow no room for miscommunication. Call out any bad behavior that is noticed, even good behavior. The good behavior, if you call it out, they will notice that you are paying attention to them, and it makes it easier for you to, it makes it easier for them to understand where you're coming from. They know what you expect from them. Always assume that they don't know the rules. Educate and enforce these rules every day. It usually takes about 22 to 30 days for to build a good habit, whether it be, build a good or bad habit. So we would like some good behavior up on that bus every single day. It makes your driving easier. The students behave a lot more better, and you have a good day. Sub-drivers, create a short and concise introduction for the routes that you cover. Let them know your name and that you will not tolerate any bad or unsafe behavior. Just be friendly. Be firm. They need that. They need structure in their life. The more structure they have, the better it is for you. So also be consistent with the level of discipline on each bus. There is no favorites. We don't have any favorites on these buses. We treat everybody the same. If you're gonna say one rule is you point out one student for doing a bad behavior and the other student's doing the same, let them know that both of them are expected the same way to behave on this bus. So be consistent. Drivers also set a professional tone with a clean bus every day. That clean bus makes sure that these students will come into a bus and not just trash your bus. And if you clean it every day, and besides, we get paid for it every day to clean it and make sure it's all done. And these are all the expectations that we have for these students.
So Eric went over the parts of respect, for getting the respect of the kids, treating them fairly, doing the right things, starting by learning their names. And Mary went over the expectations. And so I'm going to go over some of the consequences, that aspect of student management. You've worked really hard, hopefully, to establish the rules of the bus and enforcing them. And sometimes there's going to be some kids who, for whatever reason, just refuse to get along. And so because of that, we do have a process that we have to go through when we're doing the consequences section. First off, the first thing that you do is you address those kids and try to work it out with them on the bus. You move them from one seat to another. There's other options that you can have. You can come in and talk to us about some of those. After you have exhausted your efforts on the bus, then we have the process for infraction reports. Fill out an infraction report. And when I say fill it out, we need a completely filled out infraction report. It doesn't do any good for you to say Mary and not give us a last name. At the schools that you're at, there's probably 25, 40 Marys. And so for us to figure out which Mary it was so that we can call the right parent, it just doesn't happen. We need Mary Smith. We need whatever their name is. We need the complete name. It doesn't help us out. We need to know what school they're at. We need to know what bus number you're on. We need to know what bus route you're on. And we need to know who you are. If we have questions, we can come back and get them. If we need to pull a video, we have to know what bus that we're looking for. And so it's so very important that you fill out that thing completely. There's a box, a blank, or something for all of that information. And then we also need to know what the infraction is. So once you've filled it out right, you get it to us, we call the parents, then you need to give them 72 hours to correct their behavior. It doesn't do us any good, it doesn't do them any good if you write a new infraction report, one in the morning and one in the afternoon on the same student. It just doesn't work. We can't handle that. We can't do it. We don't have the personnel to service that much. We need 72 hours between infraction reports. Once it's gone to there, then we go with the citation. Remember, you're not issuing a citation to anyone. The citations are issued by the student management coordinators. We're the ones that do that. So when you promise someone that you're going to give them a citation, you can't follow through with that because we may not be able to do that. We have guidelines we have to go by also. So remember that your duty, as a bus driver, and when you're doing your student management on the bus, is you're to enforce the rules, keep them going, and do the right part and help make sure that you are getting the right information to us so that we can make the determinations on how we proceed from there. There are certain things that we need to really stress to you guys starting the very first of the school year. We will be helping you guys with all of your seating charts, and they will be enforced this year, and we're expecting that. We need them. Last year we ran into a lot of cases where people weren't enforcing seating charts, and when it came time that we had to do COVID tracing, it just really made it miserable and hard for everyone. So we are under contract with the district that we will have seating charts, that we'll have assigned seats, and that each bus driver will be enforcing those. So we're going to hold you guys responsible to that also, but we'll be helping you, and you'll see how that works as we go along. A couple of things that we want to go over that we've issued in the past. We want you to limit, I say limit, the number of times that you ever pull that bus over and stop for discipline or for student management purposes. Most of the time when you pull that bus over and stop for any period of time, it just escalates the issues on the bus and it creates bigger problems for everyone, including you and us. Do not go back to the school because of a student management issue. Unless you're told to by dispatch, you just continue on with your route and get those kids home. Getting them home and off the bus is the quickest way to relieve the pressure on the bus from things that are happening. We have cameras on the bus that catch most everything that happens on that bus. There's a few dead spots, but mostly we have really good system on that bus. And so we want you to keep an eye on it, help us out with that. If you see somebody tampering with them, let us know. We've adjusted them to work for the best that we can get, and so we need to keep them that way. They're not easy to move, but sometimes they will be moved. So one thing that we had issues with quite a bit last year was skateboards. I want to make it very clear. Skateboards, rollerblades, scooters, basketballs, footballs, whatever balls, are only allowed on the bus if they're in an enclosed zippered bag. Not a trash bag, not sticking out of their backpack. It has to be an enclosed bag. So this is in the district rules. They can go to the district website and it's very specific. If they need information on where to get one of those bags, we can maybe supply them with a website or something where they can get those bags. So just want to make sure, we need to have all the bus drivers following through with these rules the same. If one bus driver allows the kids to break the rule, then it really cuts the feet out from under all the rest of them. So remember that. Now I have a short video here on some behavioral helps for you. So we'll watch that video.
And this is what we're doing all the time, is we're making choices about the behaviors that we bring into the world. And the choices that we make have a direct impact on the conversations that we have, the relationships that we form, and the quality of our lives in general. So what can we do at a practical level to help us be more conscious about this? Because we don't get trained in this at school. It's not on the school curriculum, how to behave well, really. So what can we do? Now, the idea of the 5 chairs came to me when I went and attended a 9-day course in nonviolent communication with its late founder, Marshall Rosenberg, an extraordinary man who did so much for world peace. And after that, it sort of changed my life. After that, I decided that it was a message that I needed to get into our workplaces. Workplaces where I spend most of my time being a coach, a facilitator, and a trainer. And also where we produce some of our most questionable behaviors, sometimes toxic behaviors. So the idea of the 5 chairs is to help us slow down how we are behaving in every moment of our lives and to analyze what's going on. So what I would like to do is look at the chairs more closely and explain them. The red chair. So this is the jackal chair. I mean, jackals incredibly clever, incredibly opportunistic animals. They're always on the lookout to attack. And in fact, this chair here is the chair where we misbehave the most. In this chair, we love to blame, to complain, to punish, to gossip. But our supreme game in this chair is to judge. And if you don't believe me, I invite you to go on a mental diet. I invite you to spend 1 hour with some human beings and see if you can do it without one single judgment going through your mind. I mean, watch ourselves. Somebody walks in the door. We go, bzzz, I like, don't like, not really interested. And we don't know anything about them at all. So this chair here is a judging chair. There's actually another game that I love in this chair. It's the I'm right game. And I used to do that all the time, until my brother gave me some feedback. I used to do it with my mother because my mother likes to exaggerate. So she would say something like, yes, there were 30 people at the family gathering. And my job was to correct her. And I would say, no, Ma, there weren't 30, there were 13. So I was the policewoman of the situation. My brother touched me on the arm and he said, it doesn't matter. To which I reacted, what do you mean it doesn't matter? Of course it matters. She's wrong and she needs to be corrected for her own good. He touched me on the arm again and he said, do you want to be in a relationship with your mother, or do you want to be right? Big lesson. From then on, I always looked upon my mother's exaggeration as a form of abundance. So here in this chair, what we tend to do is we tend to see what is wrong with other people rather than what is right. And Mother Teresa reminds us, the more we judge people, the less time we have to love them. The next chair is the hedgehog chair, the yellow chair. Now, the hedgehog, when we behave like hedgehogs, we feel very vulnerable and we curl up and we protect ourselves against what we feel is an evil world. And what we do is we mercilessly judge ourselves in this chair. So we turn this chair, the red chair, on ourselves. And we say things like, I'm not intelligent enough. I can't do this. Nobody believes in me. And we have certain fears. We have fears of being rejected, fears of disappointing, fears of failing. And we also play the victim, so it's nobody cares for me, nobody loves me. And in fact, when I use this in companies and I ask managers, and I say, where do you spend most of your time? Hardly anybody comes and sits here. Because it's quite difficult to admit to our weaknesses sometimes. We need a lot of courage. And yet we all suffer from self-doubt. But it's really, what do we do with our self-doubt? Do we give up and give in? Or do we say, no, I want to find the resources and grow? And Krishnamurti says something wonderful. He says, the highest form of intelligence is the ability to observe ourselves without judging. So, next chair. This is the meerkat chair. I don't know if you've ever seen a meerkat. There are not many in Italy, but they are incredible. When they are on sentinel duty, they can stay for 1 hour, just like this. 1 hour moving their head, and only their head. Incredibly vigilant. And when we are in this chair, this is what we do. We're mindful, we're very aware, we're observant, we stop, we pause, we take a deep breath, and we're conscious. This is the wait chair, W-A-I-T. What am I thinking? What am I telling myself? So here we become very curious. So if somebody's angry, instead of saying, for God's sake, grow up, will you? We think, I wonder why that person's angry. And we feel interested. So this chair here is, when I think of Nietzsche, this is such an important quote for this chair. He says, you have your way, I have my way. As for the right way and the only way, it does not exist. So here we have a choice. The red pill or the blue pill. It's the sliding door chair. And in this moment, when we make the right choice, we move into successful living. Next chair. Here we go into the world of detect. Now, why detect? Detect because we become detective of ourselves, like Sherlock Holmes of ourselves. We take a magnifying glass and we look at our behaviors. It's a beautiful chair, this, because we become self-aware. We know who we are, we know what we want, we know where we're going. We're not afraid to speak our truth, but we also create our boundaries. We look after ourselves in this chair, but we're very, very powerful. We don't give our power away. Here we give our power away. So here we grow, we become free, we come into our full power, and we become assertive, but not aggressive. So Aristotle said, knowing yourself is the beginning of all wisdom, and we can be here for our whole lives. Why the dolphin? The dolphin, because it's such a wonderful animal, it's playful, it's intelligent, it communicates beautifully. And when I think of the dolphin, I think of us at our very best as human beings. So, next chair. This is the giraffe chair. Very beautiful chair, very difficult. I don't know if you know, but the giraffe has the biggest heart of all land animals. It's that size. And not only does it have the biggest heart, it also has the longest neck. So it has incredible vision. And so when we are in this chair, we are displaying empathy and compassion and understanding. And in this chair, we put our egos on the back burner. And we listen to people. We hold people in our presence. And we care for them. And stepping into somebody else's shoes and understanding them is a great act of generosity. Abraham Lincoln once said, "I don't like that man. I must get to know him." And so in this chair, it's an invitation to look at other perspectives, to embrace other realities, to embrace diversity, and to become tolerant. And the most important question in this chair is, what is important for him or her in front of me? And the intention in this chair is to stay connected whatever happens. So, these are the chairs. Now, how do we translate this into daily life? Well, you can imagine if you go to work, maybe you can go and you give a presentation and it goes really well, so you're here. You think, great, fantastic. Then maybe you have a meeting and things go badly and we sink into these chairs. Now, our challenge every day is to understand how to find a balance between sitting here and sitting here. Because if we're sitting here, life is not that happy. But if we're sitting here in these chairs, we're more rational, we're more open, we're more intelligent, we're more thoughtful. So, something that really moved me very, very deeply when I first read it was this. Viktor Frankl, in his book, In Man's Search for Meaning, said, "Everything can be taken from man, but one thing, the last of human freedoms, to choose our attitude in any given set of circumstances." This is so powerful. So when you next want to snap at your children, or argue with your partner, or punish someone at work, try and come into this chair here and think. And if, by chance, you end up in this chair, which very often happens, can we find the courage to say, "I'm sorry," and make everything right again? So, my invitation to you is to take these chairs home with you. Play with them. Make them your own. Teach them to your kids. They get this immediately. Put 5 of them in the boardroom at work and watch how your meetings will improve. And the next time somebody presses one of your red buttons, just think. 5 chairs, 5 choices. Can we all commit to making our homes, our workplaces, and this world a better place, one behavior at a time? Thank you. And
So just a little bit of wrap up here, conclusion from all of what we've gone through. I want you to remind you of one thing. There's only one thing that you can control, one person that you really can control on the bus, and that's you. You can control your actions, your reactions, your attitude, your mindset, your habits, your culture that you create on the bus, your consistencies, and your behavior and misbehaviors. So when you control what you're doing, it'll help you immensely to control what the kids are doing. And remember, respect the kids on the bus. If you don't respect them, I'll guarantee you they're not going to respect you. You can't just go in there with an iron fist and tell them you have to do it without having a little bit of empathy and having a little bit of respect for them. Introduce yourself at the beginning of the school year and introduce yourself to any new student that gets on that bus. Smile. Greet them. Sometimes that smile that you give them in the morning and the afternoon may be the only ones they see all day. So we need to make sure that we are setting that example for them. And we need to be a positive example for the students. We need to let them know that we count on them to help us keep that bus going in a positive direction. We set expectations and we don't deviate from those expectations. But we're consistent with those expectations. We don't treat any person in that bus different from the others. When they're not fulfilling their side of the expectations, then there are consequences, and the kids need to know that. If you have issues with students on the bus, come and talk to us at student management. It doesn't do any good. At the end of the year, you say, yeah, I just had a terrible kids all year long and nobody ever did anything about it, but you never told us about it. We need to know. Bring us the paperwork. We have to have documentation in order to carry out some of those things that we have to do. And at all times, be professional. Be professional. Be professional. Anything that you do, anything you say, the way you act, that's all, it all comes back to the bus company. So you need to be professional and you need to help us out. And I believe that it finishes up what we have for student management, and appreciate you guys. And like I said, anytime you have any concerns, any thoughts, any hopes, any needs for help, come and see us. We're willing to help you out in any way we can.